Section 2.9, example 51, using a catenary to find the length of a cable. So assume a hanging cable has the shape 10 hyperbolic cosine of x over 10 from negative 15 to 15, where x is measured in feet. Determine the length of the cable in feet. All right, so the length of the cable would actually be arc length. So let's get our arc length formula from earlier in this chapter. So our arc length was from A to B, and it was a square root 1 plus f prime of x and squared dx. All right, so let's take a look at this. So in order for it to actually match up with everything that we have here, we have to take the derivative of our function, evaluate it from negative 15 to 15. And hopefully we see something nice here. We'll kind of suck if we didn't. All right, going from negative 15 up to 15. And we could, let's see. So we have 1 plus, let's find the derivative of 10 cosh x over 10. So before we even start this stuff here. All right, so dx of 10 hyperbolic cosine of x over 10. 10 hyperbolic cosine of x over 10, that's going to be e to the x over 10 plus e to the negative x over 10 over 2. 5, 1 over 10 e to the x over 10 minus 1 over 10 e to the negative x over 10. And we could factor out the 1 over 10. That would be 1 over 2 e to the x over 10 minus e to the negative x over 10. Oh, and this here ends up being sine. So hyperbolic sine, not inverse, hyperbolic sine of x over 10. Oh, perfect. All right, so now grabbing our, so that's a derivative. So this here ends up going in here, and let's see what we have. So we have our arc length. Integrated from negative 15 up to 15. The square root of 1 plus sine, hyperbolic sine squared x over 10 dx. All right, so we don't know much about what's going on here. So what I really, really want to do is evaluate that. And hopefully once we start expanding and factoring again, we'll see something. Hopefully we'll see like a sine function or sine or cosine function or cosine squared function. But at this moment, I don't have much to go off of. So we know that sine, the hyperbolic sine function is going to be over 2. So automatically I'm going to make this a 2 over 2. We have e to the x over 10 minus e to the negative x over 10 over 2. We're going to square that. So integral negative 15, the square root of, we'll say 4 over 4. And then here we have that, we have 2. So we have e to the, I'm going to write it like this, 2x over 10. And plus, actually minus 2, because when we multiply them together, we end up with that. And then the same thing squared over here. That's going to be plus e to the 2x over 10 all over 4. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room. We have the square root of, so numerator, now we have e to the 2x over 10 plus 4 plus e to the, that should be negative, e to the negative 2x over 10. All over 4. If we were to factor this, this looks like cosine squared. So let's do a little background work just so you guys could see what it would look like. So in the numerator, ex over 10 plus e to the negative x over 10. Let's square that. So e to the 2x over 10 plus 2 plus e to the negative 2x over 10 all over, well, all over 4. That would be the hyperbolic. But that's exactly what this part is right here. That's what that numerator is. And there shouldn't be 4. There should be 2. Much better. Yeah, that's exactly what we have there. So what we have is cosine squared inside of the root. Oh, everything comes out a lot better. So negative 15, positive 15, the square root of hyperbolic cosine of x over 10, that squared dx, integrating from negative 15 to 15. And from here, the square root of something squared is itself. So we have hyperbolic cosine of x over 10 dx, which earlier we did take the derivative of sine, which ended up being cosine. So this is the not integral. This is sine of, or hyperbolic sine of x over 10, which we would need to multiply by 10, just because we have that denominator there. And this is evaluated from negative 15 to 15. So 10 hyperbolic sine of 15 over 10 minus sine, or hyperbolic sine of 15 over 10. Let's simplify before we start plugging everything in. Hopefully things look a lot nicer. Sine, or hyperbolic sine 3 over 2 minus, that should be negative, hyperbolic sine of negative 3 over 2. 10, let's evaluate. So we have e to the 3 over 2 minus e to the negative 3 over 2 minus e to the negative 3 over 2 minus e to the positive 3 over 2. We could factor out that 1/2. E 3 over 2 minus e negative 3 over 2 minus e negative 3 over 2 plus e 3 over 2. So we have 2 e 3 over 2s minus 2e negative 3 over 2s. Let's put it in a calculator. Hopefully it gives it, well, I mean, at this point, we kind of don't care. We could factor out a 10. So let's say 10 e 3 over 2 minus e negative 3 over 2. Oh, perfect. That's exactly what we got here. So 42.5856. There we go. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, bye.